Hello everyone. Today, let's talk about language. Why do people feel very insecure of using a particular language or learning a new language? Okay, let's take the English language for example. Okay, why do you yourself or people meet people who actually feel that I'm not good in English. I'm not going to speak in English. Oh, it's English. I'm not good in this language. I don't want to use the language. I don't want to speak the language. Okay, so people feel very insecure. Why does this happen? Actually, there are a few factors. So in this video, I'm going to talk to you about the few factors that result to why people actually feel very insecure of speaking a particular language. Okay, I'm using the English language as an example because that's a language that everyone needs to have, okay, or need to learn. And it's a lingua franca. Everyone knows English, right? So let's look at the factors. The first factor is the past experience. Okay, so I'm going to talk about past experience throughout your life. Okay, you have been made to believe that you're not good in English. Okay, why? Because every time you speak, you're very confident. Okay, as a child, you're very confident. I want to use the language. I learn a new language. I want to use the language. But then you encounter people who actually keep criticizing you, saying your language structure is wrong, your word choice is wrong, the way you speak is wrong, your accent is wrong, everything is wrong. So what happened is you become this, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. You start to believe that, okay, I am not good in this language. I will not speak in this language because I don't want to face all this criticism. I don't want to feel ashamed. Okay. Then, when there is a situation that requires you to speak the language, there will automatically, because of your past experience, a filter is built in your brain. So what does this filter does? It continuously criticizes you. So you self-criticize yourself by saying that whatever that you would say now is wrong. Whenever you want to speak a language, it keeps saying that wrong, wrong, wrong. So what happened? You decided, I don't want to use the language because I know it would be wrong. I will make a fool out of myself using the language. So you stop using the language, or you feel very insecure or very scared of using the particular language. Now, that brings me to practice. So your reluctance to use the language makes you to only use your mother tongue, languages that you're comfortable or you're confident with, because no one criticizes you when you use your mother tongue because you're very proficient in the language. Okay, now, but then there come a situation where you meet a foreigner that requires you, or a situation where it requires you to only use English language. What happened at that moment? In that particular moment, your brain automatically will start become a translator, a great translator. So your brain becomes a great translator. It starts to translate because you are very comfortable in your mother tongue. You start translating, your brain start translating. You think in your mother tongue, your brain is a translator. So that's filter number one. Okay, translating. But then when you want to speak, remember I talked to you, there's already a filter built in your brain that says no, wrong, wrong. So now you have two filters in your brain that says translate. The other filter will say no, what you're saying is wrong. So when these two goes together, in the end, nothing comes out from your mouth. You would stare blankly at a person. Okay, you cannot speak because you feel very insecure of speaking. So these are the first two factors that result to why people feel insecure or very scared of using a language. Okay. Now, next factor is body language. This relates to the listener, your listener. Okay. So the listener's body language plays a very vital role in a person's confidence in using the language. So, because body language actually carries the most weight. It translates, without even speaking, your body language, your non-verbal communication sends a lot of messages. So when your listener, the person who you're talking to, sends a negative body language, that creates an insecurity in you. You tend to believe, Remember, you already have a past that say that you're not good. So when your listener actually gives you negative body language like smirks, no eye contact, slouching, uninterested, it builds on to say that if I speak in this language, no one is going to listen to me. So I'm not going to speak in this language. So that is also another factor. The next factor is stereotyping. Okay, Malaysian, right? Malaysian, we use bahasa Melayu. Okay, so that's our national language. So when a person actually starts speaking in English, people start to stereotype, saying that you think you're so great speaking in this English language, you think you're superior when you speak in this language. So when people start mocking you, start saying all of these things, people who have a person who is very low self-esteem would start to think that, okay, people don't like me speaking, or this is like really bad if I speak in this language. You start to feel very insecure because people are not motivating you to speak, they are criticizing you. So you decided that, okay, I don't want to use this language because every time I speak the language, people would think that I am showing off, I am, thinking that I'm great. So that is also another reason or factor that causes people to feel insecure or don't want to use the language itself. All right. And that brings me to motivation. When you have bad past experience, you have a lot of criticism, people keep talking, stereotyping you, not listening to you, having negative body language. All of this shows that you have very negative external motivation. When you have a very negative external motivation, it doesn't motivate you to use the language because internally you are already feeling very demotivated of using the language. So when your external motivation is very, very negative, your internal motivation will automatically be low because you build into a low self-esteem. Okay, a person who already are low esteem, receiving external motivation that are very negative would lead to them not using the language at all. They feel, I don't want to use this language. People don't like me using the language. So you stop using the language. When you stop using the language, the person that is losing out is you. Okay, so don't stop using the language. All right, so I have actually explained to you the factors, and now I want you to ponder what is stopping you from using the language. What is stopping you from practicing the language itself? Okay, remember that you need to build on your self-esteem on using the language. You shouldn't be insecure of using the language. Remember that when you begin, a beginner user of language shouldn't focus on accuracy. Remember that you need to focus on fluency. What do I mean? Don't focus on whether your sentence structure is correct, whether you use the right word. As long as you can speak the language, you're confident in speaking the language despite how broken the language is, you build in the confidence. The moment you can speak the language, you are confident in speaking the language, no matter how broken it is, it builds on your confidence. Once you're confident enough to speak the language, then think about the accuracy. Do I actually have the right sentence structure? Do I speak the right sentence structure? The same thing goes to, I would advise people who face or listen to your friends who are learning a new language. Don't criticize them. Don't tell them that, oh, you know what, you're bad in the language. You're demotivating them. You're not encouraging them to use the language, So use, please encourage your friend to use the language. Okay? Don't focus on accuracy. If the person is confident in using the language, let them build on the confidence. Once they are very confident in speaking the language, then tell them, you know what, I would like to tell you that when you use this sentence structure, it's wrong. Then focus on the accuracy. That in that way, you help your friend to be a better speaker, a better user of the language. Okay? All right. Now, languages actually die when it loses its speaker. We have a lot of languages that has died because there's no speaker using the language. So if you don't use the language, a particular language, it dies. Okay? So if you don't learn a language, it limits your world. Why? Because the more languages you learn, the more you know people, the more you can interact with many people around the world. Okay, so learn as many languages, build on your language skill. It is good. It helps you. You're not a loser if you learn a language. The loser are people who criticize you, who look down upon you, who stereotype you. They are the born loser. You are not the born loser. All right? So learn as many languages as possible. Okay, and practice the language, and you will definitely be a perfect language user. All right? So I am Miss Alicia Philip. You can contact me here. You can subscribe to my YouTube because I will always post videos regarding on how to improve, and I also have lecture notes for my classes there. You can go through my lecture notes to improve your languages, because I'm an English lecturer. I used to have lecture notes in regards to all the different skills in English. All right, thank you very much for listening, and I'll see you soon.